Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hustleman Enterprises podcast, hosted by yours truly, KD. And I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for supporting. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope that you all are having a blessed day. And today we're going to keep riding that wave of discovering your purpose. If you listen to the last episode, we went over the first way your purpose will manifest itself in your environment, right? So we have to pay attention to our environment, we have to pay attention to ourselves, and we will realize that our purpose is literally staring us in the face. So, the overarching thing that I'm going to be talking about, that we're going to be discussing, is mindset, and we're going to hyper focus in on purpose, which is a part of your mindset, so that you can focus on and be intentional on what's going to get you from point A to point B and all the way through the alphabet until you get to a place where you are enjoying the fruits of the life and of the work that you have put in, because you've been so intentional, so spot on with your healing, with the action, with surrounding yourself with the right people, and having the right relationship with the Most High. That's ultimately going to get you there, okay? And so, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the second way your purpose will manifest itself to you in your environment, and that is going to be through your interests. Right? So, when we think about interests, most people probably thinking about their hobbies, right? Thinking about the things that they do to cope with stress, whether that's going bowling or working out, doing hair, whatever that thing may be for you individually. Right? So when we talk about your interests, we have to understand that there's something tied to our interest that helps us spark peace and joy and energy within our inner being. So with those emotions connected, you can start to see that your interests are spiritual, though you express them physically by actually doing them. They're spiritual because they come with these fruits that calm you down, these fruits that spark joy, these fruits that help or motivate you to be serviceable. Think about your favorite thing that you're interested in, right? Whether it's cars, whether it's hair, internet, whatever. When you're interested in something, you're more inclined to become an expert in that thing. And you know you are an expert within that particular interest based on how you can break it down to other people who may not have a particular interest in what you're interested in, and they can understand what you're talking about because you done broke it down on such an elementary level. And that's the beautiful thing about an interest, is that it can be whatever you want it to be on. You could become an expert at anything you want to become an expert on. And what we have to realize as individuals, as that person who may be stepping out into entrepreneurship or maybe into a side hustle, is that through your expertise, there's a business and there are people who are willing to service or pay you for your expertise. Or even if nobody's willing to pay for your vocal expertise, we as people have the ability to create something, create a product within that interest category. Whether it's let's say, for example, we like doing hair, right? Though you may not be a beautician or whatever the case may be, if you develop enough expertise about a particular hair process, about a particular hairdo, you will be more motivated and more focused on creating a product that can make that process more simple. And by creating our product, by testing our product, by innovating our product, you done now created an entire market in that interest category that wasn't even there before. And so, what I challenge you all to do is to look at your interests. What are you interested in? What is something that that just excites you by the very thought of it, right? Because what you're going to do with that interest is you're going to invest some time into it. We have to be intentional with the time we spend with our interests. We can't get too carried away with it, of course, because we have other responsibilities. If you're an adult, if you're a young person, you can spend as much time as you like, as your parents will allow for you. If you're a single young person, you don't have any other real responsibilities, outside of work and things of that nature. So you can spend as much time cultivating a skill set around that interest. And so when it comes to you seeking out and laying out what your interests are, I recommend writing them down. And I recommend writing them down is because we have a tendency to pick up so many things, so many interests that oftentimes we forget what we may have been interested in before. Or we get so busy that we just, so consumed with the day that we may forget, at times, especially if you have to put that thing to the side to achieve a goal, to get some things done. And if you have put that interest to the side, I will say don't neglect that interest, because that's going to be your passion project. That's going to be the thing, honestly, that's more than likely going to make you the most money in life. Because again, you're so invested in that thing. You done worked the process. You done became an expert. You done did all of the due diligence around that interest, and now you can package it in a variety of ways. Use that to serve the people around you. Especially now with the internet, it's so easy to become an expert at something. Start a YouTube channel, start a podcast, like you're listening to right now. Create a product, promote that thing, and you have you have your interest supporting you. And so when it comes to interest, what we have to believe when it comes to our interests is that we are an expert. We are an expert in what we're interested in. And what I mean by that, there's a difference between treating your interest like a hobby, like an activity, and then being an expert in that interest category, that interest arena. And some of you be thinking, how do I become an expert? How do I become an authority in my interest? And it is really simple. So there's a few things that you can actually do to where you can become an authority figure, you can become a promoter of that interest, and gain the likeness of people in your inner circle, or people on the internet, whatever your avenue, whatever your channel is. So the first way you can really cultivate your interest into being something that is more than just a hobby is be a teacher, be a trainer, right? So for example, if my interest is bowling, I love bowling. I'll go down, and I'm always there every week. I'm bowling. I got the nice ball, it's all shiny. Got the design. I can go ahead and arc it and put the curve on the bowling ball. I done spent so much time investing into this thing that I understand all of the nuances, all of what goes into it. Okay. And so now I can take some friends with me and teach them how to bowl, and then they can tell their friends of how I taught them how to bowl, and they can impress their family members. And they can say, "Hey man, where'd you learn how to bowl from?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, oh dude, my buddy over here, he showed me how to bowl. You should go check him out." And so by teaching, you really do two things. You are establishing yourself as an authority because the people you are teaching are getting the results that they desire in that arena. You are sparking an increase in your reputation, because now they're telling their friends, or their skills are being displayed because they've become such a great bowler. Okay. And then you begin to gain confidence in your skill set within that interest arena, because you are like, oh man, I can actually teach this, I can actually do this. And what's going to happen is that you're also going to increase the knowledge, because you're going to realize what gaps you have. Because through teaching somebody, you may understand a particular concept, and there may be some nuance missing that they don't have, or that you don't have at the moment, that would have been helpful, but you didn't know that that particular process or that particular skill was needed. And so now you're out there searching, you're out there, doing some more work, because you want to become the best. And that's really key for all of us, is to become the best that we can be as individuals. And so just a little nugget here. When it comes to being the best, you should never compare yourself to other people. That's the wrong way, that's the wrong perspective to have when it comes to being better. You always want to compete against yourself. Other people, they're built different. They're built uniquely for their purpose, their assignment in this life. It makes no sense, again, going back to my car analogies, it makes no sense to compare a Ford F-150 pickup truck to a Lamborghini. They're serving two different demographics. They're designed to do two different things, two different price tags. It just does not go. And as individuals, we have to realize that though we may be similar to somebody next to us, we are not them. I have to compete against myself. And if you compete against yourself, you will always win. Be better than what you were yesterday. Focus on becoming better. And eventually you're going to look around, and you're going to see, like, man, I'm I am a top-notch expert. Because what you're going to realize is that everybody wants to be the best, or they say they want to be the best. Everybody wants to be on top, but very few people are going to put in that work. Okay. All right, so I'm done with that little tangent there. But yeah, I just think that's very vital, is don't compare yourself to other people. That's just a way to set yourself up for failure, for depression, and all that negative stuff that we don't need in our hustle man, our hustle woman mindset. Okay. So the first thing you want to do with your interest to become an expert in that arena is teach it. Family members, friends, whomever you hang around. Okay. The second thing you can do to become an authority in your interest is writing a book. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be, with extravagant words or anything of that nature. It could literally be like a dictionary for your particular interest, where you're breaking down terms. Because you literally going through, detailing a process that is within that interest category, doing a comparison, between products, within that interest category. But write a book about it, and for people, or your close people, to read it, to see if it helps them. Yeah, hand it out, distribute it to them. And also put some call to actions in there, so they can have some assignments to do to see if it actually helped. And what you're going to notice as you're writing this book is, oh man, I knew more about this topic than I thought I knew. I didn't, you realize that, oh man, I am more than what I thought I was in this area. And this information, you're going to see that, hey, this information can be helpful to someone who may not be particularly skilled in this area, who may not have this interest. Okay. So write a book about it, distribute it, sell it, whatever you want to do with that. That's going to help you build confidence within that interest. It's going to help you again see what knowledge gaps that you may have, because people are probably going to ask questions, and going to have comments, and things of that nature, and they may want that further expounding on what on a point that you may have made that maybe wasn't clear, or they may have a particular context that they want to be answered. Okay, so that's going to be really the second way is write a book, become an author. Right, so you're going to teach it, you're going to become an author. And then the third way that you can really kind of cultivate some leadership within your interests is honestly hanging around other people within that interest group, right? And so what happens is, oftentimes, we may have an interest, we may have them, kind of isolated, right? We may be doing that interest, thing in isolation, right? So if you like fitness, right? People working out by themselves. If you like bowling, maybe bowling by yourself. But I will say, take the courage, take the leap, and go around people who are interested in the same thing you are. There's many Facebook groups, meetup groups, to where you can come together, meet other people of your interests, and you'll be surprised when talking to other people where you shine and how you're helping other people, and yet you're growing as well, because there's other experts who are other people interested in within that particular category. So you'll be surprised at the value that you can bring to that interest industry, that interest category, just simply by meeting up with the people who are interested in what you got going on, and what your hobby is, what your activity is. Okay. And so when it comes down to it, you really want to seek that confidence and become an authority within your interests. Because the thing is, when it comes to finding your purpose, your interest is going to be the thing that you again going to become an expert in, and that's what you're going to use to serve the people. And that's really what a business is. Right? A business is a solution to somebody's problem. It's a service to somebody's need. And so in order to figure out what your service is, you can use your interest, the interest that you have been given, and fulfill a knowledge gap, fulfill a service that somebody needs done. Every car mechanic, that had an interest in cars. And because they had an interest in cars, they're able to open up an auto shop. They do the oil changes for you. Most people don't even know how an oil change works. Right? They don't even really know what a tire rotation is. But they don't have to know that, because somebody was interested in cars and the mechanics behind them. And so they furthered their skill set. They furthered what may have been a hobby for them, just looking at car magazines, and became a mechanic. Right? And now they have their own business, their own thing, or they're in a career field that they love and that they enjoy doing. And the same thing we can do with our interests. We just have to go and take dominion over our interests. And another one, we're treating it as a hobby, but we also have to be very intentional in seeing, how can I make this a part of my monetized lifestyle? How can my interests support me? And how can I get paid to be better in what I'm interested in? Okay. So we really want to focus on your interests. Really want to focus on, how can I turn this interest into a vehicle of supporting my lifestyle, of supporting my living, and how can this interest really serve people. And so for the exercise I'm going to have you all do today, I want you to write down your interests. If you have a lot of interests, I would say just start with like 5, 3 to 5, interest points. If you have one, I would say find another interest, find two, at least two more interests, right? So you have a good list of 3 to 5 interests. Within, as you write down each interest, I want you to write down what are you knowledgeable in, what do you think you're an expert on, right underneath that interest. I want you to jot down how can my expertise, how can your expertise in that particular knowledge area be a service to other people, right? And then I want you to write a book. Like I said, it could be just a short, it doesn't have to be 30 pages, it could literally be 5 pages. I want you to write a book. I want you to take a friend or family member, teach them about what you're knowledgeable about. And I want you to, really, you can do it mentally, you can do it physically, record the outcome of you doing that. And what's going to happen is like you're going to build that confidence. You're going to understand part of your purpose, because your purpose really comes down to your assignment, which is how do I serve this world in a way that is righteous? How do I serve a world in a way that it builds confidence and joy in other people? Okay. So I want you to do that exercise. I want you to get it done. I want you to build that confidence. And again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, definitely email me at hustlemanenterprises@gmail.com. This is again your boy KD. I love y'all. I will see y'all in the next episode. I appreciate you. Bye bye.